Welcome back to the Coon Prairie Ramblers. This is the Red Rooster here, and we've been having a great old time talking about different things this morning. And so, Luke, you got something we're going to talk about this morning?
I don't know. Somebody said something during the break about swamp cabbage, good old Nocatee ice cream. So that might not be a bad subject to chew on for a while. I wish I had me a bowl of it. You like it?
Oh, love it, dearly love it. But you know, I think one thing that makes it even better is that you don't get it that often.
Right.
And it's a treat when you do get it. And it's a lot of, well, not necessarily for whoever gets it, but for somebody, there was a lot of work that went into it. I mean, a lot of work.
You know,
you got to chop a tree down.
Yes.
And then you got to clean all the boots off of it.
That's right.
And then you've got to cut it up and cook it, and I mean, it's a chore.
Yeah, because when we were kids, we had to take an axe to chop them down, down where we thought the goodie was, but now they take a chainsaw, cut it off, cut all the palm fronds off, and then of course you take your knife and start peeling back the things. But
and you measure it from the top down to
right.
Axe handle length is about where you cut.
And if you're out there listening to this and you don't know what a swamp cabbage is, it's a cabbage palm that grows in the wild. It's a state tree of Florida, and we're probably the only state in the union that eats our state tree.
Yeah, we're so tough. We eat our state tree. We might even eat our mockingbirds too. Our state bird, we get a hold of one of them.
We'll be eating
that's right. So y'all don't come and mess with us. We're eating trees down here.
And you have to go out in the woods, find one, and cut it down, and then cut all the palm fronds off of it, and then start peeling away all the layers of the old dead palm fronds until you get to the tender center part. And then not only just then you have to start breaking it off till you get to the out of the what they call bitter.
Got to get that out of there. That'll ruin your pot of cabbage.
Oh yeah, one little piece of bitter will ruin it. So you start breaking them off until you get to that tender part where it tastes good, and that's the way you basically do it. You start tasting it, and then when you get to that part that tastes good, you start cutting them up and putting them in a pot of water.
But you got to be careful not to eat too much of it raw.
Oh,
or you will have a case of the galloping epizootic.
You run to the bathroom. Green apple dirty, real bad.
And also, you remember when we used to cut them, the guinea wasp would be hanging on it.
Oh yeah,
and you'd hit that thing with a axe, and here they come, and then it's you and the guinea wasp fighting to get that swamp cabbage.
Oh, and those things are meaner than a rattlesnake. Hey, you can't get away from it.
My mother-in-law, she makes the swamp cabbage fritters, and she was talking about selling them at the Frontier Days this coming year, and then maybe going up to Zoffo Springs and selling some of those. Also, she has some guava turnovers that she's been feeding to us when we go over there, and I mean those are killer. But you get those swamp cabbage fritters, and then you got your guava turnovers. Oh my goodness, you're in heaven then.
I don't think I've ever had swamp cabbage fritters.
Those things are yummy.
All I've had is boiled cabbage. I mean, that's what I like, boiled swamp
cabbage. I tell you what, I went to a restaurant here a while back. A friend of mine I used to work at the newspaper with, she asked me to help her move some stuff to Goodwill because she was moving out of town. So we did that, and we went to lunch. I won't say where. I don't want to name this restaurant. And we went there, and it had swamp cabbage on the menu. She said she never had it before. I said, all right, this is good. We're going to try it. I've eaten it. I love it. It's really good. You got to try this. And she's a Floridian, but raised in the city, St. Pete. And so, anyway, we ordered the swamp cabbage. Well, it didn't come back as any swamp cabbage I ever seen. Turns out it looked like little old tubes of, you know how you get cheese in these little sticks? These like little fat
hearts
sticks.
Of palm.
It's kind of like the, what do you call it? The cheese that you get, the appetizer. It looked like that.
Yes.
And it was in some kind of a dressing, like Italian dressing or whatever.
Like a cheese stuff.
And it was like a
cheese sticks. That's what.
Yeah, kind of like cheese sticks, but it's what they looked like. But they were raw, and you ate it like that in some kind of. It was tossed in like an Italian dressing. It was like an appetizer, and so that was her first taste.
It wasn't very appetizing.
It was not, and I was disappointed. And I hope she wasn't too disappointed.
What type of seasoning do you like in your swamp cabbage?
I like it pretty basic. I like to put some salt pork in there.
Yes.
And I like just salt and pepper, basically.
I tried that Everglades seasoning.
That's good in there.
And you put it in there. And also I tried some Italian sausage. Just break it up.
Really?
And cook it with your swamp cabbage. Oh, my goodness. Was that good?
Do you put milk in it?
Some do. Some put
Now,
sugar in there.
Some do.
Some people put milk. Some people put evaporated
I'm
milk.
not a fan of that. I'll eat it if that's all there is. But
I think what happens to a lot of people, they don't trim it right, and it's not sweet, so they have to put either sugar or milk in there. I like a little bit of milk to give it a little bit of a thickness to it, but not a lot. I don't want it just heavy. I like it pretty simple.
if I'm cooking in the woods and we're camping or whatever, we're going to have ribs too. We'll get the ribs going and get them just about completely done, and then we got several sides going. We'll cut off the small end and cut that up and throw that in the cabbage, and let that barbecue with no barbecue sauce on it, and just the ribs, and put that in and let that rib meat flavor it with some salt and pepper, and that's good enough for me.
I think one year I know one year my son got behind in his, I think it was a civics class, and he asked if there was anything he could do to have a makeup.
Extra credit.
And teacher told me, yeah, you can make a meal for everybody if you want to and bring it in. And this was serious. I mean, she told me.
Might be a redneck.
So he's volunteered.
Redneck
He said,
school.
I'll do that. Well, guess who made the meal?
It was you.
Me.
Ah.
And
He
he
owed
wanted
you.
barbecue ribs and swamp cabbage.
A whole meal.
Yeah.
A meal.
Barbecue ribs, swamp cabbage, and I think baked beans.
Wow.
And we're talking probably for 30 people.
No way.
So
He would have owed me. He'd been waxing my truck.
he does. He still owes me for that
Right.
little trick.
Wow.
So we had to go cut enough swamp cabbage for 30 people to eat, and make enough baked beans and cook enough ribs. I mean, so that was quite a. I think he got an A+ on it, but the teacher told him that she'd been to a lot of different places where they had swamp cabbage, and she'd never liked it. She never knew what the attraction or the draw was, why everybody wanted swamp cabbage. And she said now she understood.
There you go.
Why
She had it
people
cooked
love
right.
swamp cabbage, yeah.
Not just anybody can cook cabbage.
No, they can't. It's not.
If they cook it where it's all mushy, they cook it too long or whatever, I can't stand it.
You want a little bite to it.
That's right. Almost not quite a crunch, but somewhere between a crunch and the mush.
And you talk about selling it at Pioneer Day, the fritters, 2 or 3 years back.
I'd buy some of that.
Gibby
Sullivan.
Yes.
He had regular, pots of swamp cabbage out
Yes.
there. And when it was all over, he had a bunch left over. So me and Luke both bought a big
old gallon bags of it. Took it home.
Felt like a drug deal going there and getting my gallon bag of swamp cabbage.
It was fitting.
Cooked, ready to eat. I mean, it was
fitting.
really good.
Yeah, my in-laws, they live, out in the country, so they got a lot of swamp cabbage. So we have it quite often when we go over to their house, especially for big parties and stuff.
Well, how does she do the fritter? Do you know? You've never.
I don't know how she does that. She don't give away her secrets.
It'll be
very
battered into
often.
something.
I would think they chop it up and add a little egg and flour to it. Where
I
you
think
can
she
form
even put some onions in there too.
Yeah,
Onion.
form it into a patty and
Yes.
fries it up.
Well, she was made them in like hush puppies too, but
like a
she'll make
ball?
them into a patty.
Swamp puppies.
Yeah, swamp puppies.
That's a good idea. Swamp
I was
puppies.
surprised how many people in Georgia and even the Panhandle when I lived up there never had tried swamp cabbage and never tried guavas before. I was just surprised how many people had never had those delicacies.
Well, up in South Carolina, they call it a palmetto.
Yeah. See, they got those on the coast over there. When you get inland, you can't hardly find a swamp cabbage.
They're the palmetto state,
Yes,
but they're not talking
yes.
about what we call
Right,
palmetto.
right.
They're talking about a tree that's a palmetto. That's swamp cabbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to cut cabbage anymore. I hope my cabbage cutting days are behind me. That was
that was
never
hard
a lot
work.
of fun.
It ain't much fun.
But it's worth it. I mean, it's just
Yes,
a,
It
it
is,
is.
especially
treat.
if somebody else does it for you. That's why I say
Yeah.
it's such a treat when you
Right.
get it, because somebody's put a lot of effort into it.
Right, if people move here from elsewhere and they don't like it, that's fine with me because it's more for us. But I wish more restaurants would actually sell it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we might have to go out and get somebody.
Find some swamp
Cut us some
cabbage
swamp
now.
cabbage now.
Oh, Lord.
We used to have a couple little places around town that would sell it on the side of the road. There used to be a guy there at 70 and 72.
Yep.
And I used to have a couple guys on my phone there, but I think they all quit. So
I think I know one guy that does it.
there used to be somebody be over by on Magnolia was selling it. Well, we're going to have to find somebody now.
All right, well, we're going to have to head on out. We're hungry for swamp cabbage now, so come back with us in a little bit and we'll see what the F-bomb is all about.